All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome. How is everybody doing? It is Monday. Can you believe it? Monday, October 9th. Another week here on Fade to Black. Yeah, we're going to do the big announcement tonight, so get ready for that. Our night vision goggles are out. The web pages are in place, and all of the Fadernauts that got in early that emailed us and requested stuff already bought night vision today. So thank you to if you're watching me right now. Thank you for that. Amazing. But we're making those announcements tonight. I will post up in Twitter the links to the web pages, okay, where you can go and how to contact and what to do and so forth. Okay, so there you go. Everything is up and live. Very excited about this. And the website, too, as well, for Bearing Optics is totally cool. And they've got Fade to Black there and everything. It's pretty cool. So there you go. So tonight, a very special show tonight. We have Mark McCandlish back with us and Shane Seymore. And this revolutionary technology that Shane and his family has been working on for, it's a family business of a long time. And the technology is getting ready to break out. And we're going to make the announcement on the show. So it may be a little bit heavy, maybe a little scientific at times. Don't worry about that. The point is getting it out there and getting the news out. So that's what we're going to do tonight. Tomorrow night, Anthony Sanchez is going to be back, and we're going to be talking about interdimensional and parallel world contact with ET. And there you go. And his technology that helps do that. And so we're going to be doing that tomorrow night. Very excited about this show. Anthony's the best. And then Wednesday night, John D'Souza is going to be here. He's got his new book out. It's called Clear Hearers. So we're going to talk about that. I do have the book, by the way. And so that's our week this week. And, of course, Thursday night's another Fader night. And I'm looking at the clock here. Here we go. Getting ready to go live. Very excited. And let's just have fun tonight, tomorrow night, Wednesday night, Thursday night. And just enjoy this week. Next week, too, is shaping up to be pretty bleeping amazing, too, as well. So there you go. It's Monday, and I've got a show to start. So I'll see you guys in a few minutes. Have fun.
radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
All right, welcome, Fade to Black. Bespoke radio for the masses. It's Monday, October 9th. That's right, Monday, October 9th. We are live from a bunker somewhere in downtown Burbank, California. 282 days into the new year, just 83 days left. And I would like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States, hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black for KJCR, the Game Changer Network, and KGRA, the Planet. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. What is cracking, everybody? It is Monday, a new week, right here on Fade to Black. Very excited to be in the chair. We've got a lot of stuff going on. Tonight, very special guests Mark McCandlish and Shane Seymore are here to discuss the VCMD propulsion system. Oh yeah, game changer. Very excited about this show tonight. Worldwide exclusive going down on Fade to Black. Tomorrow night, Anthony F. Sanchez is going to be here. We're going to talk about interdimensional and parallel world contact with ET. Wednesday night, John D'Souza is back. We're going to talk about his new book, Clear Hearers. Thursday's night is another Fader night with John Rappaport and his No More Fake Newsroom Live. The call-in numbers are 323-825-5045 or 323-275-9695. Follow us on Twitter at JChurch Radio, Facebook, YouTube. Everything is Fade to Black. JChurch Radio, Jimmy Church Radio, Fade to Black. You know what to do. Go follow, like, and subscribe. Now, if you want to follow along with us in real time in Twitter, use the hashtag F2B. That's simple. Any questions or comments during the show tonight? Hashtag F2BQ. Everything is up and in front of me, and it is all live. We have 2 chat rooms over in Spreaker or KGRA The Planet, so you can go and do that. You can also email throughout the show tonight, Jimmy@jimmychurchradio.com. Okay, we just announced our new sponsor up on Twitter. Okay, it has arrived. Night Vision with Bearing Optics. The links I just posted up in Twitter. You can go and check everything out. There is a phone number there too as well. And just call that number. Ask for extension 105. Alec, with a C, Hoffman. He's your inside guy. He is a Fadernaut, by the way. All right. Now, we did a little sneak preview over the weekend with the Fadernauts that did inquire about the night vision. So they got in already. And I thank you to everybody that has gone in and purchased these. They are the best night vision goggles out there. So Alec is there to answer all of your questions, what your needs are, figure out the best situation for you, because there's different levels of night vision. And but he is great. He knows what he's talking about. So you have an inside guy now, Alec Hoffman. Some of you have met Alec over the years if you've been out there with us doing any of the sky watches that we have done. And those were bearing optics that we were using. And everything that I have seen, I've always seen it through bearing optics. That's right. The green chrome balls. Bearing optics. I am so excited. I got a bunch of email today. Jimmy, got the goggles. And thank you. But my response back to all of you has been the same thing. I didn't cut and paste the response, but the response is still the same. Your life's about to change. You are about to have fun. You have no idea what you are about to, right? So just enjoy yourselves. Bearing optics. Just mention Jimmy Church, Fade to Black. When you call, you get yourself a little discount too as well. But the thing is you're going to have a connection to the inside. You're going to have some hand holding. Okay, bearing optics. And so it's up. There are two separate pages. I could actually do both. Let me see how easy that is for me to pull off if I can. If I can, I'll put up both links. But nonetheless, it's just two different pages for two different sets of night vision. Okay? All right, there you go. Worldwide announcement, green chrome balls with bearing optics. Thank you so much, Bearing. Nothing but a great future ahead. And I want to say this again, as with all of our sponsors on this show, all of them, they are family. That's what you do. Support the show, support yourself, improve yourself. We'll improve the show with all of our sponsors. Life Change Tea, GetTheTea.com, River Moon Coffee, New Pharma, Ancient Life Oil, Sacred Skulls, Studio Dome speakers, and now Bearing Optics. Okay? And then next Monday, we will be announcing another worldwide announcement with another sponsor here at the show. So there you go. All right. We thought we were going to be ready by today. We didn't quite get things buttoned down that we needed to. Have to cut a commercial, got to do that, some stuff. So, but we're going to do that next Monday. Okay? All right, let's get this show cracking, man. We've got some breaking news here. It's been going on for the last 24 hours here in California. We've got very, very fast-moving wildfires up in San Francisco, north of San Francisco, and down here just south of Los Angeles. Just absolutely blazing across California right now, forcing evacuations, destroying homes, businesses. The biggest fires burned up in the Napa wine country, north of San Francisco, and another absolutely huge fire down here south of Los Angeles and Anaheim. Here's what we know so far. One person has died in the fire up in Mendocino County. More than 100 people were being treated at Napa and Sonoma area hospitals for fire-related injuries or health issues, including burns, smoke inhalation, and shortness of breath. Over 1,500 structures, homes, commercial businesses have been destroyed, and 70,000 acres have burned so far in 8 counties north of San Francisco. Completely wide open and out of control. If you've ever been in that area, yes, a lot of vineyards, but around and inside and throughout all of those vineyards are homes. It's one of the beautiful, most beautiful communities and areas in the entire world. Lots of homes there, lots of families, and it's unbelievable. And so when we hit a number like this, 1,500 so far, okay, now this is the thing. Apparently, up to this point, it's 0% containment. It may have changed in the last hour or so up in San Francisco. I'm just going off of my latest reports. The latest, 0% containment. All they are concerned about, just like Anaheim, I'm going to get to that in a second. All they are concerned about up there is saving lives, evacuating, saving lives. Anything else, they just don't have the resources for that. It's either that or fight the fire. So right now they're saving lives, and then we'll get to some type of containment. It's unbelievable what is going on up there right now. Let's just try to get to daybreak, and hopefully the marine layer and something will change overnight to chill this out up there, because we have the same thing going on right now in the Anaheim Hills here south of Los Angeles. Now, where this is burning now, Anaheim Hills, again, populated, suburban, heavy populated houses, side by side, suburbia, packed, and this is just ripping through that community. To watch this, which I've been doing all day on the news, it's tragic to see this go down. It started at about 9:45 a.m. this morning, so before noon, in the middle of the day, and it has spread now to over 5,500 acres in the Anaheim Hills. Many, many, many homes destroyed. I was watching it on the news today with the helicopters and everything else, one house after another being destroyed. And again, just like the fire up in Napa right now, 0% containment. They're not concerned about trying to do anything. They do have the fire dropping, the planes and the helicopters, all of that going on. They're trying to save lives with this. These are houses and neighborhoods. You think about it, you don't know who's home. It's crazy. So they're just trying to get the evacuations done. It's unbelievable. Everything ignited last night and this morning, Sunday night, Monday morning, spread with alarming speed, because the last 24 hours here, 48 hours in Southern California, the extreme winds have moved in. Okay, and you see it everywhere. Dirt and dust is everywhere. The winds of all day today, all night, just blowing and whipping through. And we go through this every single year. Well, when a fire kicks off with this kind of hot, dry wind, this is what happens. And these fires literally explode. Now, right now, we've got the latest news conference. They're still evacuating. We're up to like 20, 30,000 people now that have been evacuated. Okay, so everybody, if you're listening to me right now and you're anywhere close to this, turn it off, pack up, go. Drive 10, 20 miles out of town, go to a Denny's and kick back. But don't get anywhere near this. Right now, I'm watching live on the screen right now. I'm watching this huge business burn down here in Anaheim. It's crazy. And it's in one of the most populated areas of Los Angeles. So there you go. Anaheim Hills, very close to Disneyland, Tustin. Reached up to Tustin today. Unbelievable to rip through these communities. So, all right, I will give all of the updates that I can throughout the show. I've got everything being monitored right now, but hopefully the night temperatures and the marine layers that roll in will help things chill out, because they did not chill out today. They exploded. All right, really quick, little public service announcement. UniWiki needs your help. They are in the process right now of creating their first podcast episodes for the Unity Project. So they need your help. So check this out. I know everybody wants to get involved, and now it's time to do just that. Get involved. They are looking for anyone who has an interest in general production assistance. They need to organize the work necessary to produce the podcasts that they are going to be doing. And they want to be able to have a team put together, volunteers. You're going to get something assigned to you in a project and everything that needs to get done. Okay, no experience is necessary. This is a community. It's just a willingness to work together and learn and create something for everyone. Okay, UniWiki needs your help. Now, all you have to do is just email Unity. That's UNITY at modernmasters.org, or just go to uniwiki.org, UNIWIKI, uniwiki.org, and you can email through there. You can sign up and check things out, but be part of the team here. Okay, lots of work needs to be done, and it's totally cool, totally fun. Maybe you'll get yourself a little credit, too. Think about that. uniwiki.org. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast. We have over 730 archive shows, custom apps, Apple, Android, all platforms, just $2 a month. Go to jimmychurchradio.com. You can sign up. Just click on the podcast banner. Or you can become an official Fader Knots. Yeah. Go to our membership section on the site. You're going to get the bunker cam. You can even get commercial-free downloadable archives. You can even become a game changer and get all of the cool Fade to Black gear, shirts, hats. You get an email to me. You get an direct email to me regardless. And you know what? You can ask any Fader Knot. There are thousands of you. Thousands. Ask anybody. Anybody that has written me, all of you, on that private email account has gotten written back. And if I haven't, prove it to me. Because, man, I spend a lot of my time just responding to you guys. It is so cool. You can do all of that over in our membership section. All right, let's get this show cracking. Happy birthday to today, Sharon Osbourne, the one that took a chance on Ozzy, is 65 years old. Director Guillermo del Toro, one of my favorites, is 53 years old. He directed Pan's Labyrinth, which is still to this day, that's a stunning movie. Pacific Rim, and I was wondering about Pacific Rim. I thought, cheap B movie. Pacific Rim was awesome. And then, of course, he did the Hellboy franchise. Amazing, amazing director. Great vision. Tony Shalhoub today is 64. And you know what? You know why he made the list. Fred Kwan in Galaxy Quest. Our dead guy's birthday today, the one and only. Moment of silence, John Lennon. 1940 to 1980. Tragically shot, killed, murdered in front of the Dakota in Manhattan at the age of 40. Certainly one of the most influential songwriters in the history of music. He released an album in 1980 called Double Fantasy. And that album ended up winning Grammy Award for Album of the Year. But the song, anytime I ever hear anything off of that album, it takes me right back to my senior year in high school, right there. And it had that effect on, and then he was murdered, right? That's the crazy thing. So when I hear those songs off of Double Fantasy, I don't think of that. I think of like Christmas, 1980, senior year in high school. That's what I think about. I really do. John Lennon, happy birthday. On this day in history, OTD, 1967. Che Guevara is executed the day after he was captured in Bolivia. Yep, he was captured on October 8th and then executed on October 9th. And then, of course, never got to get the residuals on all of those T-shirts that were bootlegged all around the world. I mentioned that a couple of years ago on the show, the Che Guevara T-shirts. Right? Somebody actually wrote me an email and said, "Hey, dude, Che Guevara is dead, man. He never made any money off of those T-shirts." I was like, "Oh, really? No kidding?" Thanks for that. Let me write that down. I'm going to take a picture of this email. I'm going to make this my desktop. All right. Fader fact. This is for all of our friends down under. Fader fact. The average Australian cat eats more fish per year than the average Australian. And that is a Fader fact. Why is everybody sending me birthday wishes? My birthday is tomorrow. So what's going to happen tomorrow? I want my birthday wishes on my birthday. I don't want them the day before. My birthday is tomorrow, everybody. How did you guys even know this? Sharon Osbourne didn't like me. Just ask me why. I dare you. You had an American accent. That's why. All right. Today, very special guest, Mark McCandlish and Shane Seymore are here. We're going to be talking about the VCMD propulsion system. This has been a lifelong project for Shane and his family. Mark McCandlish is part of this too as well, and we're going to make the worldwide broadcast debut and announce what this is tonight on the show. Tomorrow night, Anthony F. Sanchez is here. We're going to talk about interdimensional and parallel world contact with ET. Wednesday night, John D'Souza, FBI X-Man, is going to be here talking about his new book, Clear Hearers. And then Thursday night, of course, is another Fader night with John Rappaport and his No More Fake Newsroom Live. All right. Now, several services right now. Love my River Moon coffee, Fade to Black blend. See, that's how many shows that we do. You become a creature of habit. And my creature of habitness right now is every day, I announce and we talk, we do our little thing, and then I go to my little break and to just let my mind go. And before I do that, I got to take a sip of coffee now. I cannot. Now I got to do it again. Fade to Black blend. Okay. All right. The United States government has got a bunch of government-funded radio stations and networks around the world, okay? And the most famous ones that we know about, Radio Free Europe and Radio Liberty, looks like they're going to get shut down in Russia. That's right. The Russian Justice Ministry has just warned the broadcasters. That's right. Radio Free Europe and Radio Liberty that they're going to get shut down, saying that the measure comes in response to Washington's recent moves against the Russian media, RT, in the United States. Russian authorities have warned the Washington-funded organization that its activity falls under Article 2 of the Russian federal law on NGOs, non-government organizations, which regards its operations as those of a foreign agent. Now, Radio Free Europe and Radio Liberty, these types of broadcasts have been going on since World War II. It's been going on for a long, long time. All around the world, everybody's been doing it, and pretty much everybody has left the other guy alone. Okay, let your propaganda machine roll. Have you ever listened to Radio Free Europe? Have you ever heard it? Have you ever heard of Radio Liberty? Have you ever listened to any of the Armed Forces Network, AFN? Right? Have you listened to any? I have. I grew up with that stuff. But have you? Well, they're broadcasting right now somewhere, and you can find it. Now they have websites and everything else. But they're also broadcasting radio around the world. Propaganda. There's also Russian propaganda coming back this way, too, as well, in English and in Russian and other languages out there. Okay? This is nothing new. Now, by law, in Moscow, right, might impose restrictions on activities of the broadcaster in Russia, RFE-RL reported today, citing a letter from the Russian Justice Ministry. Several services of the broadcaster, including its Russian language network, it's called Current Time Television. Now think about this, right? Russia Today, right? In English. Well, we have our own station over there running. Yes, we do, in Russian. It's called Current Time Television, run in cooperation with the Voice of America, as well as RFE-RL's Russian service, Radio Svoboda, might be subjected to certain restrictions. Now, they are saying now that Current Time, Radio Svoboda, and Idel Relay are journalistic organizations. That's what we are claiming. And we will trust that Russia will allow us to continue our work. That was what the network tried to say today. The letter from the Justice Ministry is, and I'm quoting here, a tit-for-tat measure for the oppression of the Russian media is receiving in the United States. Now, I had mentioned this last week on the show. Remember when I was talking about Flat Earth? Based on Russia's media law, restrictions might be imposed on correspondents working for media organizations from countries that put limitations on journalists working for Russian-registered media. Now, the Russian Foreign Ministry warned that Moscow was ready to restrict the activities of American media in Russia. The measures might come in response to Washington's attempts to limit the work of RT in the United States. Now, remember what I said last week about the Flat Earth, when I said that the flat earthers want us to believe that Russia and the United States are colluding together, right, to create fake images, round Earths instead of flat Earths, right? Satellite pictures, the ISS, that spacewalk last week that was put out by RT with a round Earth. The round Earth wasn't created; they just photographed it. But the flat Earthers want you to believe that Russia created a round Earth from a flat Earth to fool you, and they're working with us. Well, now as it turns out, you know what? It's a strange way to treat your friends. We are entering in a very, very dark area here. Think about this. Is RT on the same level as Radio Free Europe or Radio Liberty, which are propaganda arms of the United States? No question about that, right? There's no doubting this. But there's plenty of that coming out of Russia, out of China, right? Japan did it all through World War II. You remember that? So this has been going on for a long time. But this is what is so strange for me. The deep state globalists and those NGOs and this subversive propaganda that goes on, trying to steer the minds of the general public, they are now threatening the very free speech that and destroying it that they fought for. Now, I'm talking about this. If we throw RT out, right? If we start to do that, I don't care. If you don't like RT, don't listen to it. Nobody is getting influenced by RT. Nobody. All right? It's just a station. That's it. That's all it is. No more than Al Jazeera. But if we start to get our stuff closed down, then the next guy is going to close somebody else down and start interrupting. The next thing you know, right? And this has been going on. They've let it go. They've left it out of the play. They've allowed that spy versus spy propaganda radio to be flying around the world uninterrupted for 70 years. And now this is going down? I don't get it. I don't care about RT. I don't care about anybody. I choose to listen to what I listen to. I don't listen to any North Korea propaganda. When I do, I laugh at it. Or any other country. It doesn't matter to me. And I think in general, it doesn't matter to anybody else either. But if this goes on, one guy penalizing this, and we start doing this against each other and shutting everything down, we are censoring ourselves, and we are entering in a whole new era. We don't need this. We do not. Okay? This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Listen to me. We don't censor. If you don't like something, don't watch it. Don't watch it. If it says Russia Today, RT, and you don't like the Russians, don't watch it. Watch it and laugh at it. Or whoever it is. Who cares? Al Jazeera. Al Jazeera wasn't ever going to succeed here. But you don't want to tell them no. Right? Because that's not what our principles are based on. Think about that. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. I'll be right back with our guests, Mark McCandlish and Shane Seymore. Stay right there.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Yes, Rivermoon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black Blend from River Moon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy.
Hi, folks. Let's wind the clocks back 60 years. Food was different. Food provided health and nutrition, and using supplements was minimal. Unfortunately, now we have chemicals, GMOs, herbicides, and pesticides that can be quite lethal in the name of our food supply, and of course the ever-loving dollar. Supplementing our diets can be very important to stay healthy. Cleansing from daily intruders to the body might be critical. Live strong and take charge. Log on to getthetea.com. Our herbal tea is a great way to cleanse from intruders. Our supplements is a great way to maintain and improve your health. When your health is not up to par, go to getthetea.com. No GMOs, no fillers, and organic, and very helpful in keeping you at the top of your game. Life is too short to feel, you know what I mean. Stay in the game, at the top of your game with getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. Again, getthetea.com.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the planet.
Win big with KGRA this summer. Tickets and hotel accommodations to the biggest conferences, autographed books and DVDs, chances to win all-inclusive conference cruises, and private dinners with your favorite KGRA hosts. Click the contest tab at kgraradio.com for your chance to win big this summer. Your contact for the best alternative talk radio on the planet. kgraradio.com.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Massey, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. We made the announcement today. Bearing Optics. I just put it up there on Twitter. Bearing Optics, our new sponsor here. Our newest sponsor here at Fade to Black. The links are right there. And very, very, very cool green chrome balls. Go find yours. Bearing Optics. The phone number is right there on the website. Alec Hoffman is your connection. He's a Fadernaut. He would love to hear from you. And there you go. It's extension 105. That's simple. Bearing Optics. The links are up to the website right there. Okay. All right. Mark McCandlish, Shane Seymore. Mark McCandlish is an internationally recognized artist. He's been on Fade to Black many times, also over on Coast to Coast with me. He specialized in aviation and conceptual art within the defense and aerospace industries for better part of the last 30 years, serving the needs of many of the top American corporations in this regard. And, of course, there is the ARV, the Alien Reproduction Vehicle. We have discussed that many times on this show. Shane Seymore was raised in an engineering life from early on in an electrical motor rebuilding repair business family. Conceptualization, theorizing, and application were driven into their beings in an effort to make things work better than originally engineered. Shane's father, Darren, engineered and produced a practical and uniformly functional drive system for the automotive industry that PhDs in mechanical engineering could not produce. After the passing of his father, Shane resolved the conflicts with the drive, applying advanced science and mathematics to develop what is now called the VCMD. Gravity gives objects a means of transportation without floating when the motion is applied. The VCMD gives objects a means of transportation by providing omnidirectional motion in both static and dynamic drive modes through applied science. Tonight, we're going to reveal for the very first time the VCMD and discuss the technology. And I would like to welcome to Fade to Black for the first time, Shane Seymore. Shane, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, good evening. And before I bring Mark in, I'm going to do this first. Mark has already gone through this, but you get the first-time guest disclaimer, which is, it's just you and I, Shane, sitting on my couch having a conversation between friends. Where the conversation starts, it starts. Where it ends, but we will end as friends. Are you ready to go?
Roger that.
All right. Roger that. Mark McCandlish, how are you, my friend?
Hi, Jimmy. Great to be back.
Yeah, it's great to have you back on, but you don't get the first-time guest disclaimer. You haven't had that a few times now. Do you miss it?
Oh, my heart's broken.
Yeah,
I got to tell you.
The good old days. Mark, before I'm going to start with you, actually.
Okay.
You've been talking with me about this. It's been going on now, I would venture to say, maybe even a couple of years. So here we are tonight. But with your background, not only with defense and military and aerospace and your knowledge of mechanics, airflow, flying, all of those things that you've been dealing with for forever, man, going back to when I was a kid, and I just made you feel old, I know. But your intelligence here, right? So when you met Shane, and I want to know how you met him, and you looked at the technology, I want to know what you thought. How did you meet Shane?
Well, it started out with some posts that were showing up on my Facebook page, and it was usually in conjunction with anything having to do with the alien reproduction vehicle and anti-gravity type subject matter. And it started out with these posts that showed this, looked like something from a crop circle. It was these sort of three circles in a triangular formation and some numbers and arrows and things. And I kept thinking, this is someone who has a UFO sighting they want to share with me or something. But it kind of reminded me of those little toys they have now. It's sort of like a little, I'm not even sure what they call it. It looks like three little circular objects with a bearing in the center, and the kids hold it in the middle, and they just spin the thing endlessly. Apparently, it's designed to kind of keep little kids occupied when there's nothing else to do. And it kind of reminded me of that, and I didn't quite know what to make of it. And so every once in a while, Shane would sort of drop in on the Facebook page and make some comments, and they were provocative enough that I finally decided to engage him in a conversation, find out what he was talking about. And at first, I honestly was quite skeptical, because I have to tell you, there is a history of the so-called mass driver or kinetic thrust type of invention. This kind of thing has been talked about and kicked around for probably several hundred years. And the biggest problem with these devices, most of them involve some kind of an aperture or armature that is rotating, and it has some kind of a heavy weight on it that has a fulcrum, and it swings outward at a certain time in the rotational cycle, supposedly to throw its weight in a particular direction and create a kind of thrust. And mostly these things were designed to create a kind of lift without wings. The problem was that because of, I guess it's Newton's third law, talking about for every reaction there's an equal and opposite reaction, or for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction. And so the act of throwing this weight up was actually pushing the other part of the mechanism down. And so when these things actually started to operate in desktop mode, they'd basically just sit there on the tabletop, jumping up and down very quickly, kind of like a jumping bean, and never really went anywhere. And so when Shane began to describe for me how his device worked, and I'll let him give you the details on how that happens, and he described how he had hooked this thing up to a buddy's pickup truck and had lifted the front end right off the ground. I really sat up and started to listen. And it's an absolutely fascinating story. I think you'll really enjoy it.
Well, we're going to get to that in a second. Shane, let me ask, is it okay if I post the crop circle images?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna post these up now for everybody to take a look at while we are talking tonight. We'll just kind of kick things off with these. The images stopped me in my tracks, by the way. I really, really was glued to those. So we'll get to those images in a second. Let's talk about you, Shane. Your background, your father, the company business, and what you guys were all about before we get to the VCMD.
All right. So basically, I grew up my entire life behind my dad, Darren Seymore, and I lived in a shop, basically. So every other weekend, I'd go down there, and for the weeks, I'd have to stay in the shop playing computer games or tearing stuff apart. And, of course, my families were pretty poverty-stricken at the time. So most of my toys were like electric motors or tearing apart fax machines or, building train sets and stuff like that. And so time went on, and I had Legos. He actually taught me with Legos. And that was my favorite thing. I had, big toolboxes full of Legos. And I didn't realize it at the time when I was so young what my father was actually doing behind the scenes. And he basically told me, you can use the booklet, the instructions one time. And then I want you to tear it down and memorize what you did. And then if you can do it the second time without looking through the book perfectly, without losing any parts, he'd get me the next size up, the next level up, because they had like an age level. And by the age of 6 or 7, we got one of those kits that was an entire printer. You had to build an entire printer. You could hook up to your computer, and it would print things. And then after that, it went on to the RCX microprocessor, the little robot. And it was the first one. It was called Mindstorms or Brainstorms. And you had to, hook up little electric motors to it, little sensors, and, build the blocks for the programming and stuff like that. Then I became uninterested with that because I pretty much did everything. So I went on to building go-karts and RC cars and stuff like that. And then I started fabricating my own stuff.
Yeah, keep going.
And anyways, that was only part of my family. And
right.
that was Darren Seymore. I was actually driven to the hospital in I think it was a 72 Dodge Cricket that was electric. It was just a DC motor hooked up to a manual transmission with a trunk full of batteries. And that's just, a little bit of my history. And the other side, my grandfather, which is Carl Hammers, he was a hot rod builder and welder. So I go basically from one shop to the other shop, and both were teaching me, how to use my hands, how to use tools, how to customize and fabricate and build and everything like that. Time went on, and I went through high school. And about age 12 to 13, I built my first 5.0 engine in my bedroom. And I didn't know the fundamentals of the engines or anything like that, what really went on. So I kind of pieced it all together and had the carburetor on it, hooked up to a milk jug full of gasoline and, just a single coil. And I accidentally started it at like 2 o'clock in the morning with my mom sleeping right in the other bedroom. And she wasn't too awfully happy about that, but
right.
That's just a little bit about my history.
Did your dad have a PhD, or was there anything physics related floating around the family?
No, my dad was pretty much all self-taught. He did go to college, and I don't remember what that was for. But his father, Howard Seymore, was a rocket scientist and founded the company. I'm not going to say the name of the company because it's not, I'm not at liberty to say it. But anyways, it's up there with Tesla and stuff. But yeah, no, he didn't have any college training for that kind of stuff. He basically just had to teach himself everything. So, and then before he passed away, he was into microcontrollers and CNC machines and all this other stuff.
And how did he start to jump into this type of drive system? Was it because he was understanding, how to make things more efficient, or where did the idea come from?
It basically started off. They used to just rewind, pool pump motors and small motors. As a matter of fact, some of his gyro motors are in a satellite right now. They had a problem with gyroscopic precession, and he, pretty much fixed it because they'd spin so fast. Once they reached their maximum RPM, they would start to wobble around. They'd have to stop the motor and stuff like that. So he came up with something to repair that. But there's always little trinkets around from different companies. But where it really started was with golf carts, and they started doing a DC to AC power system. And that, AC electric motors are a lot more efficient than DC powered engines because it eliminates the brushes, it eliminates a lot of the heat, and you're also using higher wattage. So that went on. The shop changed locations, and they started building electric vehicles. And it got, more complex. So, and his best friend back in the day was named Alan, and he was an engineer at a company called AC Propulsion. And I think I sent you a link on Will the Real Tesla Please Stand Up?
Yes. And, I got that.
They went through all kinds of legal actions, stuff like that, and now it's actually Tesla Motors today. So that's pretty much, and during that time after that had already happened, my dad had passed away.
Now, when we look at, and I've checked out some of the information here, and it's all very exciting, but there's a lot of math and science involved. How did you get exposed to this type of, complicated math and pretty heavy science to understand this, fix the issues, and then take it to the next level?
I was always exposed through mathematics and engineering and through my father. So we are always dealing with mathematics all the time. You'd have to machine something at 10,000s, 20,000s, 5,000s, stuff like that. So I was already predisposed at mathematics. So all throughout my schooling career, I always had an A+ in auto shop, science, and math.
Now, I wanted to ask you really quick before we move on. You've got a lot of pictures of you with some pretty crazy cars. Who owns those?
The crazy cars. You mean like the Thunderbirds and the old hot rods? Or?
Yeah, exactly. And blowers through the hood and stuff like that.
Those are all mine. My most valued car is actually a 93 Thunderbird that I started prototyping my own parts on. And, I converted from an LX to an SC, 5-speed. I got into wiring. I got into, the dynamics of having to change something into another car that wasn't supposed to be there. And, a lot of failed attempts on, wiring and stuff like that. Finally got down to a science, and I can do it, at the back of my hand. But this one car I got when I was in high school, it was my first car. And right now it has around 805,000 plus miles on it. And that's on the body. The motor I just took out had 500,000 miles on it because I used, different fundamentals and different metals, forged internals, stuff like that. But the real kicker is because it's an older car, you can actually manipulate the fuel injection because it's just an OBD1 car. It's basically just a classic style engine with fuel injection dropped on top.
That's it.
So you don't have all those other codes and stuff. But the interesting part is I can actually put potentiometers on it to modify the signals coming out of the mass airflow sensor, the coolant sensor. You can modify those to drop their voltage or increase their voltage to change the fuel parameters, the fuel curves in it. So I could either have 385 horsepower at like 10 miles per gallon, or I can dial everything else the other direction and get 42. Me and my buddy, Tim, back in the day, we went across the country. I just put the motor together. The next day we took off for, I think it was Kentucky, Whitley, Kentucky, which is exactly 2,400 miles away. And we made it in 24 hours on only 4 tanks of gas, all the way across the country.
So it's 100 miles an hour.
Pretty much the whole way there.
Yeah, pretty cool. What raised my eyebrows? You know, I had 2 Thunderbirds myself. I had a 95 and a 97, both V8s, and both were hopped up pretty good too as well. The 97, that was lowered, the body kits on it, and that was a smoking car. That thing, I just really enjoyed them. Okay, so anyway, that, like I said, it caught my eye. Very cool projects that are going on, but also you understand what it takes to build a motor, to stay efficient. Also, metals, math, and basic mechanical engineering.
Yeah,
I get it. So now, Mark, when you started to look at the technology and start your relationship with Shane, what went through your mind? Is this a technology that you think could be used? I mean, in the applications that we're referring to.
Oh my gosh, Jimmy, this particular device, and I will say this with the qualifier that this is no exaggeration. This device has the potential for completely changing transportation forever. Imagine, for example, an airplane, a commercial airline, with no jet engines under the wings. It probably wouldn't even need the wings, except that you could improve the efficiency of an aircraft as a mode of transportation by keeping the wings.
Right.
And using the VCMD as your source of propulsive force to move the vehicle through the air. You can the same device, build a smaller version, because some of the devices that Shane has worked on have a lift-to-weight ratio that's something in excess of 500 times the weight of the device itself. And there are certain limitations to the actual size of the device because of the amount of centrifugal force involved the larger they get. So there are limitations. So what you do is you wind up ganging a number of the devices together to produce a larger force. But, basically you could have these things sitting in an airplane, and if the wing breaks off with the engines and everything, you can turn this thing on, and it will compensate for the loss of the lost wing, the lost lift, the lost thrust from the engines that are missing now. Basically get an aircraft that's been severely damaged back to an airport where it can land safely. So just that particular application alone has tremendous commercial application and military applications at all. The device is set up in such a way that you eliminate all of the noise and pollution associated with the internal combustion engine. It's driven electrically, although it could be driven by an internal combustion engine, if need be. But in terms of military applications, you've got an object, a device that would allow very large, heavy vehicles to operate almost completely silently because all of the thrust is produced inside the vehicle. There's no exhaust. I mean, like some of these huge trucks, the M1, A1 Abrams tank, of course, is driven by a turbine engine. But if you have some of the older model tanks, like the A60 or the M60, I think it is, you can eliminate the diesel engine. You can use something like this to move them around. You can use this for submarines, for ships. Imagine a ship capable of lifting right out of the water and flying away. That's the kind of stuff that you can do with this technology, if you have enough of them, if you have enough combined thrust. So it's very exciting. I mean, even things like how would you put it? Imagine a large artillery piece that when it fires, there's a tremendous amount of recoil. You've probably seen footage of the big guns that were on the USS New Jersey. When those 16-inchers fire, there's a massive set of recoil springs that compensate for the kickback when that artillery round fires out of those cannons. And you could set up a device like this so that it would compensate and basically counteract the kickback, the recoil of even a large artillery piece, which of course helps in keeping it accurate in terms of placing the round on target, this kind of thing. But there's so many different things that you could do. I mean, imagine flying around like Superman. Strap a couple of these things to your back, even a small one near your center of gravity, say right below the solar plexus on your back, and fly around like Superman by simply leaning or cupping your hands and steering yourself by the airflow as it goes around your body. I mean, it's a very exciting prospect, all the things that you can think of that this thing can do.
Now, before we head to the break, now we've got a great setup, okay? We've got the end here. We know it can do all of these wonderful things, and it's amazing, and it shouldn't be real, but it is. So now we're going to go backwards. Before the break here, let's do a quick setup. Shane, what does VCMD stand for?
It stands for Variable Centrifugal Mass Drive.
Say that again.
Variable Centrifugal Mass Drive.
Now, why? Explain each component, because that's exactly what it is, and it kind of makes sense. But now let's take it to the next level. The VCMD. What does it look like, and how much energy is going in versus energy going out?
All right. Basically, well, there's going to be some parts that I'm not going to be able to explain because they're still, going through patenting and stuff like that. So, and they're very, secretive. That's what makes it work. But yeah, it looks kind of like a triangle. We call it a tricoid. And the thing is about it, like the first show that I heard, no, it does not produce more energy than it's put in. It's simply a fancy torque converter. You're basically taking whatever energy you're putting in and converting it to a different type of energy. You can always, like I always say, you can't ever get rid of energy. You can always just transform it. So what it does is it takes that spinning force and converts that exact power. And this is the interesting part. My first prototype actually flew apart because I was, fiddling with it and lifted the truck and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, let's see what this thing will really do. And I cranked up the RPM on this little gas-powered motor that was actually doing the spinning. It's like a little Briggs & Stratton. But because of my lack of ability to build it correctly, my welds broke and threw one of the booms off into the back field. And that was pretty much the end of it. And what it is that makes it so dynamic and important is its ability to practically take whatever you're putting in and perfectly transmit it into a lifting force, almost 1-to-1. There is a little bit of heat. We have other devices that are behind that allow the thing to cool down. And I have a couple of friends that are engineers and stuff like that. So we've engineered this already. And the smaller device, which is only about 11 inches in radius, is calculated to lift about 3.5 tons so far with just the materials that we have at hand. So
wait. Okay, let's pump the brakes right there on the truck. Right? Okay. Let's pump the brakes right there. Let's take a break. And when we come back, we need to go and just address and digest what you just said. You're saying that the device, which is 11 inches right now, could actually lift, what did you say, 3.5 tons?
Yeah.
There you go. I need explanations. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Exciting show tonight. Mark McCandlish and Shane Seymore. The VCMD. For the first time, it's being discussed in public. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. We'll be right back.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station.